Hi everyone! Welcome to Crafty Anew, where we do DIYs, craft hauls, and thrift flips. If you enjoy that kind of content, please be sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of all of my future uploads. And if you enjoyed today's DIYs, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know what your favorite project is. Today, I'm bringing you 5 St. Patrick's Day DIYs made with items from the Dollar Tree. So let's get into it. Okay, for our first project, you're going to need some paint, and I'm using Kelly Green with copper sheen. You're also going to need one of these 3-leaf clovers. You can get these from the Dollar Tree. And some scrap paper that I got out of this paper pack, also from the Dollar Tree. And just FYI, everything will be from the Dollar Tree in this video. So what I first did is I mixed some of that copper in with that Kelly green to kind of get this sparkly muted green. So I'm going to paint around all the hearts and the stems, and don't worry about if you get any on the hearts because we're actually going to cover those up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gold scrapbook paper and I'm just going to make an outline of the heart onto that. And we're going to do that to all 3 pieces and cut that out. I also lost some footage of me wrapping the stem with the jute twine and me making the green hearts out of the green scrapbook paper. And all I did for the green hearts is I just folded it in half and cut out a half a heart shape so that both sides of the heart are even. And I just glued them onto the middle of the golden heart. And that makes this project complete. So for this next project, you're going to be using one of these lucky pot signs, St. Patrick's Day Decor from the Dollar Tree. I'm also using my Waverly chalk paint and ink and my favorite color wash tint. I love this stuff. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. Love this stuff. And then I'm using some coins, also again from the Dollar Tree, and I'm not going to keep saying that, I promise. And a couple little cubes to stand it up because I want this as a tabletop decor. So I'm going to first start out using my color wash tint, and this stuff is super easy to use and it doesn't cost very much. You can get it at Hobby Lobby and a little goes a long way. You don't have to wipe it off. It's quick dry, it's easy to clean up, and it just gives this pretty color to any kind of wood you paint it on. And it's got these little like specks in it, so you want to make sure you shake it up really good before you start using it. And you can see right there, see how everything's settled at the bottom. So I'm just going to give this a good shake, and then I'm going to paint the word lucky in this. And as I'm painting it, I'm also going to make sure I keep stirring this color wash tint so that all those golden flecks don't fall to the bottom. And I'm going to give this 2 coats. And don't worry about if you get any of this paint on the pot, because we're going to paint that black. So once that's painted, you can see the pretty like flex that's in there that's going to make it look like it's a weathered copper. And I just love this pretty green color. So now I'm taking a really thin brush and I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint and ink, and I'm going to get in between those letters. Now, I did try to take these letters off, but as I was trying to do that, the letters kept wanting to break on me, so I stopped doing that. So this is very tedious and I'm probably doing it the hard way. So if you can, I would definitely take the word lucky off and paint the entire pot first, and paint my letters separate and then just glue it back on. But like I said, it wanted to break on me, so I'm using a really thin brush to paint between the letters. And then once I have the letters painted, I'm going to give it a big coat of my Waverly chalk paint ink, and we're going to let that dry. And once that's dry, I'm going to take this bag of golden coins and I'm just going to glue those on top of the pot until it's full, and we're just going to overlap these, and we're going to use a whole bag. I think I ended up using almost a whole bag. And then once you have those glued on, that's what it should look like. And now we're just going to glue our cubes onto the back, which I ended up using 2 of those cubes for each side for this to stand up. And once that's done, it turns into a beautiful tabletop decor piece for St. Patrick's Day. Okay, for this next project, I'm using some of this yarn. This was purchased at the Dollar Tree. Half of this sign, I ended up cutting it in half because I only wanted a smaller piece. Some Mod Podge, some of these window clings, and then apple barrel paint and nutmeg brown. So I'm just going to take all of this off. I'm removing the Happy Fall sign, and I'm also going to remove the paper that's on the sign, which is really easy to do. It's just stuck on there with some glue. Once I have that removed, then I'm going to go in with a couple coats of my nutmeg brown, and we're going to let that dry, and we'll move on to the next step.
Make me nervous and I lose my words. It's been a while since I forgot the most simple words. I feel calm when you're around, like nothing can break me.
Now, once our nutmeg brown paint is dry, I'm going to go over it with a coat of Mod Podge, and I'm going to attach this truck window cling to it, and we're going to let that dry after I give it a good coat right over top of it too. That way I don't have to worry about this falling off. Then I'm going to take this green ribbon that I had, and I'm just going to attach it to this side of the sign by using some hot glue on the back. And then I'm also going to take the yarn and I'm going to wrap it around the ribbon and glue it on the back. And now I'm just making one of my twine bows by wrapping the twine around my finger, tying it together, and then I'm going to put the bow in the left hand corner on top of the ribbon.
Like nothing can break me.
The ribbon put on, I'm going to take 2 of these tower tumbling blocks and I'm just going to glue those onto the back for a stand because I also want this on a tabletop. And once I have that glued on, that project's complete. We have another St. Patrick's Day tabletop decor. For this project, I'm going to use one of these 8-inch rings that you can get from the Dollar Tree. And I found this cute fabric. Oh my gosh, I just love that green plaid. I'm going to use some of these foam shamrocks. And of course you'll need some scissors and hot glue. So basically I'm going to make a rag wreath, and I'm going to cut 10 pieces of this cloth off into strips. And I'm going to cut the other green cloth into 10 strips. And we're going to tie those onto the wreath. And I'm just cutting them about 10 inches in length and about 2 inches wide. Once I have my 20 strips cut, I'm going to tie those into a knot onto the wreath, and I'm going to alternate between the solid green and the plaid, and I'm only going to do that to half the wreath, just right there in that section that you see. Wreath should look like so far. I've got everything evened out. I've got the knots in front, and you can see how far I went with it from one section to the other. Once I have that completed, I'm just taking some yarn and making me a hanger. And now I'm just going to glue these shamrocks onto the wreath. I kind of hesitated between gluing these on or zip tying them on somehow. Because I wanted to reuse this wreath at a later date, but then I realized that the glue is really easy to get off this thing, so I just went ahead and glued the shamrocks around the wreath. Once I have the shamrocks on, I'm taking this window decal off that page that we've been using that says Happy St. Patrick's Day, and that makes this wreath complete. It's a little different, but I like it. So for this project, you're going to need a glass vase, some bags or polyfill, some material, which I'm using the same material I used in the DIY before this, some tissue paper, and you're also going to need a heart pattern that I just printed out onto a printer. It's a 5x6 inch, and you're also going to need some skewers. So what I first did is I just covered the vase in Mod Podge, and I'm just going to put the tissue paper on there. I'm just going to wrap it around the vase, and then once I have that wrapped around, I'm going to apply some more Mod Podge, and we're going to let that dry. While that's drying, I went ahead and pinned my heart pattern onto my material, and I'm just going to cut my material out. And what I did with my material is I folded it in half so that I could get 2 hearts out of that material, and you'll see here after I unpin it, we'll have 2 hearts, a front and a back. What I ended up doing is making a solid color, and then I did a plaid and another solid. So I did 2 of the solid greens and 1 plaid. And then I'm just going to glue those 2 pieces of material together so that we can stuff these hearts with what I'm using is a shopping sack, or you can use some polyfill if you have that. But this works just as well as the polyfill does, because these are only temporary anyways. And once I have that stuffed, I'm going to put some glue down in there and insert the skewers and glue that back together, and we'll have the hearts completed. And you're going to do that to the other 2. Done, I'm just taking some nautical rope, and I'm going to glue that around the top of this vase all the way to the very top, and that's going to help hide that rough edge from the tissue paper. And then I'm just going to burn off all those nasties. And once I do this, I'm just going to put the hearts in there with some greenery, and that makes this project complete. If you guys enjoyed these projects today, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of all of my videos. And click on the videos that are popping up now. I really appreciate it. And thanks for watching, guys.